Hey friends, KendallMatthews here, and I'm welcoming everyone to the KendallMatthews Show. We have a great show set up for you today. I'm talking with Todd VanDuzer of student-tutor.com. That's student-tutor.com. Now, Todd is a great person that I found in the education management area, and he has a great story to tell. Todd, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. And Todd, I met him at one of the software technology events for entrepreneurs that we had here a couple of weeks ago in Scottsdale, Arizona. I found your story fascinating about a lot of do, Todd. So I'm so thankful that you took time out of your busy schedule to talk to me today.
Absolutely, Kendall. Appreciate being on the show.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of questions for you, and much more than we're going to get to in these next 20 minutes. But before I get into all of those things, could you tell us about your personal journey and how did you get started and where you're at today?
Absolutely. So I kind of got started in high school. I used to tutor a bunch in high school and was tutoring a bunch of students and started filling up. I've always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial drive or business spirit in me. So I started hiring friends to tutor for me. And it used to be kind of a joke back then. Like people would laugh, what are you trying to do? I'm like, well, this is what I'm going to do for a living. I actually remember being in high school in one of my calculus classes, and the teacher came up to me as I was working on my business plan for the tutoring company, and she kind of pretty much laughed at me. Well, it kind of built up over time, and started hiring more friends to tutor, and eventually it started becoming a little bit more structured and focused. Started to where we are now, where we hire consultants and we have educational advisors and we help coach students get into top-ranked universities such as Stanford and Harvard, as well as just helping students maximize their scholarships and skyrocket their GPA. So started in high school as a little small thing, just tutoring, developed into what it is today, where we consider ourselves to have one of the best academic tutoring programs in the market currently, and our results definitely speak for itself.
Yeah, and that's what really excited me about your journey is that you're an entrepreneurial traveler, real estate investor, marketing guru, all tied up in one. And your student tutoring business has been around for what, about 4 years? Is that right?
Yeah, so Take Two's been around for about 3 to 4 years. Started in high school, so the first round, which I didn't talk to you about, started about 8 years ago. So the company built up, and in ninth grade I was too busy. When my freshman year of college, I was too busy. Had saved up a lot of money from the company it was bringing in. We shut it down, and I ended up traveling to Europe quite often that summer. In between classes, actually. So that's kind of where my traveling endeavors began, and I was kind of in a hiatus from working with any company those couple years, and kind of took more of a self-journey of traveling through Europe for 3 months, backpacking through South America for a couple months, going through Central America, and just doing a lot of, self-exploration and figuring out what I wanted to do next. Came back after a while traveling and ended up starting up round 2 of Student Tutor, which now has been around for about 4 years.
Now, I like what you said about Take Two. So it's like you're going to keep on improving, keep on making sure that your journey of what you're going to do from your ideas that you have are going to come to fruition, and I like that. And so what's one habit of yours that makes you more productive as a self-starter? Because it seems like you've had some starts and stops, but you keep on moving forward.
Yeah, so I like to contribute a lot of, my success to self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is a psychological term that is basically the belief that you can do things. And as you start accomplishing small goals that you before did not think you can accomplish, you start building your self-efficacy. So the best way I can put it is something like this. For instance, I said one of my ways of building self-efficacy is rock climbing, for instance. I've been a climber, used to climb indoors, and I put a goal out for myself saying, hey, I'm going to rock climb a 2,000-foot cliff. It was completely outside of my comfort zone, completely something I did not think I could accomplish. And believe me, this all relates back to business. And so I was like, okay, well, how am I going to get there? So I started creating baby steps. What can I do today to get me one step closer to that goal? So I wrote this all out. I wrote my big goal. I wanted to do this, accomplish this in 2 years. Then I started writing out things, SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, relative, and timely. of what I need to do this specific quarter. And then daily tasks, what do I need to do this specific week to get there? Using an awesome tool, project management system like Asana, I can lay out all these things in a very detailed format, having clear focus of what I need to do every week. So I went to the rock gym twice a week to rock climb and train. Then I started going outdoors, meeting people who had a lot more experience with outdoor climbing, started learning how to climb bigger walls, started learning how to do multi-pitch, how to rig gear, how to provide all the safety. And eventually, 2 years later, I ended up rock climbing a 2,000-foot cliff. It took me all day. It was a long day, but I did it. And in doing so, I grew confidence in myself through self-efficacy. And by accomplishing something that I did not think I could accomplish, that confidence definitely is brought in in other areas of my life, such as the real estate investment that we got into, or improving our tutoring company level. So through self-efficacy, I contribute a lot of my belief that I can pretty much accomplish anything. And as I accomplish these small tasks and goals and reach these new milestones, that confidence grows in other areas of my life that allows me to accomplish goals that beforehand I would have never been thought possible, by just really creating baby steps that are SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relative, and timely.
Wow. No, that's key, in being able to break down those big events into smaller chunks. And a question I have for you is, rock climbing and real estate and all this. How do you bring ideas to life? Like, what are you reading, or when you're getting these things that are coming to your head, like, I want to do this, where do those ideas come from?
That's a good question. I think they just kind of slowly just develop naturally. Sometimes it's really me just kicking it with some friends at a bar, drinking a beer, and the idea just comes, and we start talking about it, and I go, you know what, I want to do this. And I just go after it. Really, a lot of ideas just come to me out of the blue. There are no specific ways they just come and I roll with them. I think every individual has all these ideas. The question is, do you actually roll with it, or do you just let it be an idea? So my whole thing is, everyone has ideas, and it's really simple to make ideas into reality. You have an idea, you have a dream. The next step is you got to believe in it. You got to talk about it. You got to tell friends about it, no matter how big or outlandish that idea is. So, for instance, right now we're working on creating a music festival, and we plan on having at least 50,000 people there at some point. So that's a big goal. That's something that as I tell friends about it, they're going to laugh at me. They're going to look at it. That's the only way to make an idea a reality. So they talk about it, believe in it, talk about it, tell people. And eventually, you get people to buy into your idea. People start going, you know what, I kind of agree with you. All right, I want in on this. And then you start developing a team of really unique, talented individuals, where then you can start getting those people to believe in you and follow along with your dream. And eventually the idea is no longer just an idea anymore. And that random thing that you just kind of talked about and laughed about at the bar with some friends suddenly becomes reality.
Nice. And this reality, from student tutor and education management to now music festivals, what makes a music, because I've been to a lot of music festivals, and what makes this idea unique?
So we're very, very early stages of the festival. We're still working on doing the researching phase and figuring out our brand and culture and how we're going to go about doing that. But to put in short, what we're really leaning towards is we're really going to be trying to hone in on the really quick growing pace of yoga, meditation, and just that new niche that it's currently developing. So it's a very new niche. It's a new market that's kind of developing in the music industry, as well as having all these yoga meditation retreats going on. So we're trying to harness that younger culture and provide a festival to that specific niche, because really that's the only way to grow a business. You got to figure out your niche, and you have to adhere to that specific crowd and create something unique and different that crowd wants to go to, because it doesn't exist anywhere else. So we're still in the research phases of figuring that out. I can't give you the exact of what it is, but we'll probably have it down to figure it out within the next month or so.
And so you're going to figure that out and nail that down and do successful and great in it. And have you ever had any failures that you had to overcome in your life?
Oh, definitely. I've had a ton. Especially with this tutoring company, I've made a lot of wrong decisions. as far as the direction that I go ahead, lost thousands of dollars in doing so. I've definitely tried a lot of different ventures that have not been successful, but I don't really consider them failures. I mean, I learned a lot from them. I met a lot of people from them, and somehow they're all just connecting to make my overall goal, which is when I leave on this trip and travel for 5 years or so, reality. So, I mean, everything's really been aligned with that goal, figuring out how can I contain and create sustainable business models that will continue giving me a financial income so I can travel and leave off on this trip that I plan on leaving in about a year.
Oh, where are you going?
So, yeah, in about 15 years, I leave traveling around the year. I'm actually buying a van. It's going to be a Sprinter van. You can walk in it. We're going to be remodeling the inside, putting a wood floor and having a refrigerator and nice little place I'm going to live in. And I would plan on traveling around the U.S. for about a year, doing a ton of rock climbing. I give speeches from time to time at high schools, so I kind of want to get more involved in that. I organize this group here in Phoenix called Yoga and More in the Park. We have about 70 people a week come to, and we host a free yoga event with meditation class and a bunch of activities afterwards, which is aligning with our actual festival. So I plan on leaving in a year, promoting the festival, possibly creating new events like that in different cities as I go, rock climbing, surfing, giving speeches. I'll still be doing some side consulting for the tutoring company, but we already have someone lined up to take over. And then eventually I plan on driving down to Patagonia, Argentina, and I'm not really sure what will happen along that way, but I'm sure something cool will.
Right. Well, you're going to have a whole bunch of experiences, and that's what's going to be great when you go on your trip.
Yeah, it's going to be something I've definitely been looking forward to for several years, something I've been working towards, creating those baby steps to make this trip a reality, make this my new type of lifestyle, really, where I'm still going to be productive, still going to be getting things done, working, but it's really going to be, everything's going to be fully on my own terms, which is what really excites me.
We're talking about over and over again lifestyle and being productive and baby steps. What software or web services that do you use every day, and what do you love about them?
So one of my favorite softwares that I use is Asana, and I'm sure a lot of you are probably listening on this are familiar with that software. It's a great productivity management system. Now, I use Asana coupled with the ideas of David Allen. David Allen is a stress-free productivity expert, guru. I'm sure many of you have probably read his book, Get It Done. If you haven't, highly, highly recommend it. I read his book probably about 6-7 years ago, and I've been using his tips since. He breaks it down to basically allowing you to be productive in a stress-free way. And I think that's what allows me to juggle so many different projects. Because some people ask, like, well, how do you juggle so many projects? Shouldn't you just be focusing on one? And my belief, yeah, you can be focusing on one if that's where your passion lies. But I have so much passion for so many different areas. But using his productivity system and using coupled with Asana, I've learned how to delegate tasks and have different individuals managing a lot of my projects, which allows me to expand my businesses in multiple areas rather than just focusing in on specifically one.
Well, when you're able to focus on multiple areas and having a team to be able to assist you, and I like to dig on that a little bit more. You talk about the software and the teams. How do you find great people to help you realize your passions?
So honestly, most of the people that I found are friends of friends, networking. We've tried putting the job postings and people applying and things like that. On finding people in various sources such as monsters.com and jobbing. And for the most part, that doesn't work out that well, what I've realized. It costs a lot to post your jobs there. You end up interviewing people, and sometimes you hire them, and a lot of times it doesn't work out. The one way I found that works out the best, and I always strive and we always look for people I already know, or friends of friends. So by just broadening my network and focusing in on going to networking events and building relationships with different individuals, when the time comes when we need someone for a specific job role, if I have that network, I can easily send out an email to a couple friends, and they'll recommend someone that they trust. And typically, those are the individuals that make the best employees or the best people to work with, because they already have that trust. There's no need to, we still have to do an interview and everything like that, but for the most part, they're already trusted by someone I trust. And it's funny because I never really thought that was a big need. Everyone always talks about, oh, network, it's really important. And a lot of times I think, well, it's so much time consuming, like there's so much work that goes into it. What are you really getting out of it? How can it really help? But it helps tremendously, especially when you're trying to build a team.
Mm-hmm. And I think also if you're networking to places and to meetings that you enjoy, like I do not like going to just regular networking events where people are just standing around and talking. I really like to go to those meetups where you're talking about something technical. And I find that a lot of my relationships are with more technical people and not people who just like to talk about things that have more in-depth experiences. And that's what really helped me in recruiting and finding great talent. But Todd, if you were to start all this over again, what would you do differently?
I'd probably start working in a co-working space quicker than I did, rather than from my house. That'd probably be number one. When I first started the business, we couldn't afford, a place to work at. And being a small company, I would recommend any small business owner, if they're trying to start a company or something like that, don't work from your home. That's a horrible idea. Don't work from local Starbucks. Get a co-working space. They're not that expensive. You can probably get one for $250, $300 a desk. Start working there. You're surrounded by, especially if you're in like a state like Arizona or California is somewhat pretty startup friendly as well, especially Arizona. Like they have so many startup like co-working spaces. Get a co-working space, or if you can't, if there is no co-working space, start one or something. Just being surrounded by other entrepreneurs, other like-minded individuals. Like they say, you're going to be the best of the 5 people you surround yourself. So be careful who your friends are too. Be careful who the people you're hanging out with. I mean, the more you hang out with people who are like-minded and have these goals, the more likely you're going to rise up.
And that's key when you're talking about people, surrounding yourself with some great individuals so that you can each challenge each other and help each other rise. What people have influenced your thinking? Because you're not over 30 yet, right?
No, I'm not. I'm 25, so giving a lot of this advice can, I'm sure I have a ton to learn.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah, people I surround myself with right now, a lot of them, luckily, have been, there's this awesome group here in Arizona called 1001. It's a global organization I've been part of for the last 5 years. It's basically business owners, entrepreneurs, and under 30. And you have to apply to it and get in, and it's been a great group that I'm surrounded by a lot of friends of mine, too. For instance, my friend Will Curran owns Endless Entertainment. They produce massive events for companies such as like Phoenix Comic-Con, and then my friend Jeremy Ellens, he's owner of Yazimo. They're a marketing firm out here, and they do a lot of digital marketing for a lot of medium-sized businesses. They've grown dramatically in the past couple years. And then my friend Jake, owner of EXP Trips. So just being surrounded by these other business owners, a lot of them are members of EO. If you're familiar with that, it's an entrepreneur organization. You have being gross at least $250,000 a year to be in. And so it's just being surrounded by a lot of other startups and small companies that individuals my age going through the same things. It's definitely driven me to want to work harder because it makes me feel like I'm behind. And I think feeling behind is a really good feeling to have because it urges you to work harder and move forward.
Right, it keeps that drive going,
Exactly.
Not getting in that comfort zone.
Not getting complacent, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Todd, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us today, and then you just gave some great advice and some great tips. How can people reach out to you?
Yeah, great. How you asked. Feel free to shoot me an email. My email address is Todd, Todd, period, VanDuzer, V as in Victor, A-N, D as in Doug, U, Z as in Zebra, E-R. I do give speeches if you're ever interested. Giving a speech at one of your corporate headquarters. I have keynote speeches developed, and be more than happy to go ahead and give an inspirational speech there if that's something that you're looking for to get people motivated. I consider myself an expert in content marketing as well as productivity and organization. So that's also something I can do. If you are interested, or if you're interested in our tutoring service, feel free to check out our website as well. But email would be best. Feel free to give me a call on my cell as well if you'd like, or 760-521-4721, my number.
Perfect, Todd. You know, folks, this is what I told you that I was going to do this year, and that's connect you with some exciting people who are doing some great things and some fantastic things, but who have high integrity and are about making things happening, doing more faster, and dominating their passions. And that's what you need to do. Continue to focus, like Todd was talking about, on this greatest nation on God's green earth.